Major NFL breaking news just a few hours ago. DeAndre Hopkins has been suspended for the first 6 games of the 2022 season for using performance-enhancing drugs. Our friend Adam Schefter broke the story, and it's a huge deal for the Arizona Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins is an absolute superstar, one of the 5 most talented receivers in the NFL. Hopkins changes every single game he plays in, and the numbers and the field, they most certainly back that up. And now, this explains a bit more why the Cardinals made the deal for this guy, Hollywood Brown, on draft night. It was a good deal in isolation because, as Cardinals GM Steve Schein told me today on my SiriusXM radio show, Brown played with Kyler Murray in college, played in Lincoln Riley's offense, very similar to Cliff Kingsbury. But as I said to Keim, and he agreed, look, if you trade a first rounder for Hollywood Brown, there's a projection here because it's a good trade, not a great trade, because Brown was just that, good but not great in Baltimore. But now, this makes all the sense in the world because the Cardinals needed a number 2 receiver and a number 1 for the first 6 weeks of the season. But in a huge year for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, this is a killer. Kyler Murray went south when Hopkins got hurt last year. So playing without him to start a huge campaign, this is rough stuff. Rough stuff. Look, having said that, look at the weapons here for the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. We're talking about Hollywood Brown. He's got that relationship with Kyler. Full season for Zach Ertz. Trey McBride was an unbelievable draft pick, and Keim raved about him on the radio show on SiriusXM today. Rondell Moore is a game breaker, so there's still enough here at the end of the day for Kyler Murray. If he's your franchise quarterback, with those pieces, he should be able to put together a winning record. We'll wait for the schedule to get released next Thursday. But at the end of the day, Kyler Murray should still, with those weapons, be able to win games. I mean, those are better weapons than what Aaron Rodgers has. I mean, those are better weapons than a lot of teams in the NFC. Steve Keim has stockpiled an unbelievable roster. But make no mistake, this is a terrible day for the Arizona Cardinals and just irresponsible stuff from DeAndre Hopkins. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane, just incredible, joining me on my SiriusXM radio show this morning, raving about Buffalo's first-round pick, Kaiir Elam, who, at the end of the day, is absolutely dreamy for Buffalo. His attitude, his work ethic, his physicality, that scene when the owner called him and he said, put the playbook on the plane. Beane just fell in love with him, and that's why he traded up to get him. And Buffalo, no surprise, had an unbelievable draft. They were the best team in the NFL going into the draft, and they add a stud corner. They add a punter, and the punt god, who's going to help the Buffalo Bills, and obviously having that monster leg, considering the weather, is a big deal. And the fact that they got James Cook is just perfect. We talked about this, assuming that they didn't draft the running back in the first round, they were going to take one like Cook, who is my number 2 running back. Makes a ton of sense for Buffalo when you look at it in round number 2. And, I mean, you see the highlights right here? What Brandon Beane said, we added a weapon who's going to be a matchup nightmare. So think about all these matchup nightmares for Josh Allen, who's a matchup nightmare in himself. I mean, he's going to be the favorite for MVP. I mean, Gabe Davis is a stud. Diggs, obviously one of the best in the business. Going to have O.J. Howard with Dawson Knox, Devin Singletary, and the fact that they got Cook is unbelievable. The process in Buffalo, special. Brandon Beane, smart, calculated, aggressive. The Buffalo Bills finish up the draft as, bar none, the team to beat in the NFL. Look, they should just make it official. Change the name of the NFL draft to the Baltimore Ravens Invitational. Another masterclass from Eric DeCosta. I mean, this is how you work the draft. Kyle Hamilton, Tyler Lindenbaum, we raved about those guys on Friday. This is an unbelievable draft for DeCosta, but I mean, the fact that Ajobo goes to the Ravens is just right out of central casting. I mean, He obviously got hurt at the Michigan Pro Day. Obviously, DeCosta now employs the former Michigan defensive coordinator. The fact that they were able to pick Jones out of UConn was unbelievable. Every single year, it's an A. Every single year when you grade the Baltimore Ravens draft, it's an A. That picture of DeCosta and Harbaugh, it's perfect. It's an unbelievable GM, unbelievable coach, unbelievable culture. The Baltimore Ravens will be back in the playoffs. My official time to shine draft grade for the Jets, an A++. My only debate was, do I give them 3 pluses after the A? Gardner, Wilson, Johnson. I still can't believe they got 3 stars, 3 of Dan Jeremiah's top 9 players in the first round. But then what Joe Douglas did after that dreamy day 1, the fact that he got the best running back in the draft to help Zach Wilson, I mean, are you kidding me? Breece Hall is tremendous. And then the fact that they got Jeremy Ruckert, one of the top 2 tight ends, who, by the way, Ruckert grew up as a Jets fan. This is dreamy if you're a Jets fan. And you know what? I give Joe Douglas credit. We've been critical. Hey, Joe Douglas, make it about winning. Don't kick the can down the road and make it about 2023. Now you're going to know about Robert Saleh. Now you're going to know about Zach Wilson. The Jets are actually going to be fun and exciting. What a time to be alive. It's been a rough offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I thought Brett Veach did a terrific job in the draft. I love McDuffie. I love the fact that they went defense with the first 2 picks that they had in the first round, because we talked about this. Their issue, their weakness was defense, and they needed to address that first and foremost. I didn't think they were going to replace Tyreek Hill. He's impossible to replace, but the fact that they plucked Sky Moore, wow. That's pretty awesome. You want to talk about the need for speed? Again, I want to stress it. Nobody replaces Tyreek Hill, but if you had to draw up the perfect second-round wide receiver, that was vintage Veach and Andy Reid. How about the Steelers snagging wide receiver George Pickens in the second round? That was an absolute steal. You know, there have been a lot of football Mondays where after the draft we have destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers for not doing the right thing. I thought the Steelers were sensational. We raved about the Kenny Pickett pick in the first round on Friday. You know I had George Pickens as my 5th best receiver. There were immaturity issues at Georgia. Put him on this team with Mike Tomlin, Kenny Pickett throwing him the football. Pickens was dynamite for Georgia. I mean, we're talking about a big-time program. I can't stress enough how much I love those first 2 picks from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They did an unbelievable job. Are you kidding me? This might as well just be considered a yearly occurrence. The Green Bay Packers under Brian Gutekunst fouled up yet another NFL draft. I mean, you know, the defensive players they plucked in the first round, unlike, let's say, the Kansas City Chiefs who we raved about, there are questions here. Major questions. And then the trade up for Christian Watson from South Dakota. You know, I get it. They plucked a couple of receivers, but this wasn't about strength in numbers. It was about strength in strength. What they should have done, instead of trading up for Watson, they should have traded up for one of the big 4 wide receivers in this draft. That was an easy first guess. And by the way, how do you take Watson over Pickens or over Sky Moore? Made absolutely no sense. So I think Brian Gutekunst has no idea. And honestly, feel terrible for my guy Aaron Rodgers. Hey, hot take artists, you save the criticism and critique when Aaron Rodgers doesn't win the Super Bowl. The Green Bay Packers, roster-wise, they're not even close to being the best team in the NFC. They'll be in the conversation because Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs. He's arguably, in my opinion, the most talented quarterback in the history of the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers will carry the team again. Brian Gutekunst, yet again, it's an annual tradition, failed Aaron Rodgers, failed the Packers fans, failed to make the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl caliber. I gotta get this off my chest. The New England Patriots had a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad draft. I mean, really, what are the Patriots doing here? I mean, it started out very strange with Cole when they needed help at cornerback, and then they picked a couple of cornerbacks late. And why did they take a quarterback in the 4th round? I mean, Mac Jones is entrenched. You know, the New England Patriots, by my calculations, they are at best the 13th best team in the AFC. Now, Bill Belichick is greatest coach in the history of the National Football League. Period at the end of the sentence. Next sentence. He constantly fouls up the NFL draft. I have no idea what Belichick was thinking. I would give the Patriots a D if I'm being generous, if I was grading their draft. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.